Hello, everyone. It's Civic IFBB Bikini Pro, and today we're talking about a lot of stuff. We're going to recap Russia, aka Moscow Pro, but it's listed on NPC's website as Russia Pro. And then we have, what's the other pro show? Prague. Okay, so we're going to talk about those, and then, as I always do, there's going to be a nonprofit spotlight at the bottom or in the description of the video. But it's just going to be about looking up what your local food kitchens are and like food resources, because at least in California and pretty positive across the country, I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but like California did confirm it. SNAP benefits are going to be ending on November 1st, which means that 42 million people in the US are going, and I believe like half of that is children, are going to be without food benefits. So, sad note to start on, but let's talk about something lighter, which is the Bikini Pro shows for NPC FEB. Okay, so let's start with Moscow. Okay, so in first place, we have Alita. Second place, Alessia. Third place, Eugenia. And fourth place, Natalia. So, when I close my eyes and open them and I look at the screen to see who has the least amount of flaws and who is fitting the conditioning. See, I've never found the right way to say all this, but I'm just looking to see who is like the least complete, or, you know, who is less and less complete. Okay, and then I open them. So the first thing I notice, Lita's arm looks a little bit forced, but her conditioning looks really pretty. She's a little on the tighter side, but the muscle bellies still look full. They aren't looking like grainy or stringy. Eugenia, her upper body is looking a little bit forced, so she's kind of like jutting forward in the rib cage here, and it's pretty hollowed out to where you're seeing like the ribs pop out, and she's kind of hunching to that side, and then this arm is looking a little less natural. Alessia, I think this is a really good pose. I think she could also relax her arm a little bit. She looks a little tense in the shoulder, and then if she, you know, I hate telling women to smile, but if she smiled, that would help. Would that make her win the show? Probably no. Lita looks really, really good, but I think it would just make the look a little more complete, and there were very few photos for this show, so she probably was smiling more, but we don't see it in the photos. And then Natalia, I think her pose looks absolutely perfect. She looks totally relaxed, like she's just standing there. Her conditioning looks beautiful. What's missing for her? Like, why do I think she didn't get first place based on front pose only? I think she could use more shape to this glute here, but other than that, she looks great. Like the conditioning, you're not seeing any you're not seeing too much detailing. Like you see a lot more detail in the legs here on Lita, our winner, compared to Natalia. It just looks like soft, full muscle bellies, more like Maureen from the Olympia. She looks very relaxed. Again, like she's just standing there. And that's what you want in bikini. You want to look like you're relaxed. Your front pose is super uncomfortable, but it shouldn't look like it's super uncomfortable. So, yeah, and her tan looks very even. Everyone's tan looks really, really good at this show. Alessia's looks a little bit light, but it could just be the light shining on her shoulder here that's washing her out a bit. But, yeah, I am loving the conditioning on Natalia here. And then the core is really tight. You don't see ribs popping out. You do see some ribs, but when you get this lean, you're gonna see some rib for most people. And then Alessia, I think this is probably her best look yet. I love the suit color. I think the suit top could have a little more coverage, but I love the suit color. I think it's so pretty and it really pops on her. I would like to see some more glaze. She doesn't look as glowy as the other competitors. And where I think she loses to Lita is just natural structure and Lita's waist being so small. So we'll look at the back poses and see like how people compare there. But just based on the front poses, I think that Natalia has the most bikini conditioning on this stage. Alessia is honestly a close second. It's just some structural issues that make her hourglass shape look a little bit less impressive than like Alita, who is super tight in the waist and then really has these glutes popping out. I would say, based on the front pose, that Lita's conditioning is just a little bit too hard, so I probably would have leaned towards someone more like Eugenia, even, because she has really full muscle bellies. Like, she's very poppy, she has a lot of glow, and the shape is still really good, but the pose could be improved. So I think Lita, you know, good choice for like the hourglass shape, but the conditioning is a little bit too tight. So based on the front pose, I would probably have it going, even though Natalia doesn't have as much shelf in this glute, which takes a little bit away from hourglass shape. I could see myself even having her win based on the front pose. And then back pose, I think this is where Natalia gets that fourth place. Her glutes are just significantly smaller than the other people on stage. But once she brings her glutes up, then I think she could be like someone that we really talk about in the IFBB. So I think she just needs more glutes, maybe a little bit more hamstring. I'm seeing the adductor pop out more than I'm seeing the hamstring pop out. So I'd like to see some more development in the hamstring and the glute. But the upper body looks really good. When she brings those things up, she might end up having to bring up her upper body a little bit too, but I think it's good as it is, and I would just see what happens if you build up the lower a little bit. But I'm going to guess that the feedback they give her is more overall muscle maturity and size to the lower body. I think that here in the red, we have Eugenia. This shape is really, really beautiful on the glutes. I think she could have more volume to this upper outer, but the shape is really, really beautiful. I think where we see Lita really take it is that she is balanced from front to back, even though she's a little bit tight in the front and the back, but she has a lot of glute projection. It tapers down into her leg. Hourglass shape in the front and the back pose. I think overall, again, the conditioning is just too tight, so I might have leaned more towards like a Eugenia if Eugenia's pose were better in her like front pose, which we'll look at her individual photos too. But I could see Eugenia winning the show. She did win this show last year, and that's how she qualified for the Olympia, this 2025 Olympia. So yeah, I think the hair is really pretty. It could be a little bit shorter, so it's not covering that lower back, because that takes away from the hourglass shape when we can't see the lats taper into the waist like we can see on Lita here. The reason I would not have Alessia winning the show is because I think the legs are overpowering to the glutes a little bit. I would like the glutes to come out more. And I think some of the other people just beat her on hourglass shape. So hourglass shape is a big part of the criteria. So unfortunately, I think that's where Alessia has been running into problems. But this is a really, really good look for Alessia. I think the conditioning we're seeing on Eugenia and on Natalia is the best in most bikini, but I think the muscularity we're seeing on Alessia and Lita is the most bikini. So how would I have had it going? If we're sticking to criteria, I'm inclined to not go over the line of conditioning to where it becomes like freaking conditioning. So even though I think Eugenia could improve some stuff, I would have probably had her winning. But Lita's glutes are very impressive. The glutes are really full, and then we're seeing a lot of tightness in the hamstrings, which is just a pretty severe mismatch for me, but still great shape. I would like to see what it looks like she fills out a little bit, so she's not getting all of like these deep grooves to the legs. And you see similar grooves on Alessia's legs, so it's not surprising that they were in first and second place. First and second place are clearly a lot harder than third and fourth place, and yeah, I mean, Natalia would have to have a significant amount more muscle on her glutes to win this show, but I think her conditioning is the most bikini in this show. But everyone looks really, really good. So let's look at them individually. Okay, so here is Lita. What would I do? Same things I already said. She was in the center of the call out, so it was easier so we don't really have to go critique her front pose that much more, but bring the arm in tighter to the glute to frame the physique more. I might angle the hips a little bit away so I see less of the front of her suit bottoms and just more overall hourglass shape, and just overall much softer conditioning. Back pose, same thing, just softer conditioning, hair off the shoulder. It looks like her hair might have been like moving at that point, but if it wasn't, then I would just say hair off the shoulder. But the hair looks really, really pretty, and I like the dark purple suit on her. Sometimes when you wear dark colors, though, it can make you look even harder. I think she would naturally just look this hard even if she weren't wearing a dark color suit, but it's something to think about. And then in second place, we have, and Lita's stage vibe is just really good. She's clearly like happy to be there. And that's what you want to see on stage. So you want the judges to want to look at you, and I would want to look at her if I were judging that show. Okay, and then Alessia, this angle is better for her front pose. She's angled away a little bit more, making her waist look smaller. The hourglass shape is really, really, really good. She's just not as tight in the core as our winner or some of the other people on stage. But the conditioning looks beautiful. And the suit, I'm obsessed with. So Alessia's looking great. Yeah, no new thoughts on that look. Okay. And then in third place, we have Eugenia. So here is Eugenia's front pose. Yeah, she looks like she's having a great time. So again, that's really good. I like the red suit on her. It looks like it even has some like gold stones on it or something. No, maybe not. That one is throwing me, but it's probably the reflection of the red. The only reason I bring it up is if you have some like yellow or gold stones on the suit, it can start to blend in with the tan. So it's not like the best idea to have it, or like I wouldn't recommend it. So what I would do with this pose is just stand up nice and tall. So she isn't like pushing her stomach forward like this and her ribs, because it's throwing off her hourglass shape. And then her arm is kind of doing a teacup thing. What you want it to look like is more like Jasmine's front pose. So like this, she's standing up nice, tall, relaxed. She's not pushing the core out at all. Yeah, just like more like that is what I would like to see. Okay, and then in her back pose, I think the back pose is good. Oh, that's cute. She has like some braids in there. Love that. Love that. Okay, so I would do shorter hair so it's not covering the glutes, because she has a small waist. So I would like her to open up her back, straighten her arms a little bit so she gets like that lat taper into the waist, because when you're just all pinched up like this, it totally flattens the lats, so they aren't giving any shape to your body at all. So if she stood up like with straighter arms, open up her back, then we would, and shortened her hair, then we would be able to see that taper and hourglass shape in the back pose. So if she just corrected some posing stuff, I think she could like win the next show she does. And I think she actually is doing another show. So let's see. We'll see what show that is. Let's see what her pose was like here. Okay, it's a little more relaxed here, but she does seem to have a tendency to kind of like really push these ribs forward. But really pretty look. Okay, and then Natalia. So yeah, I think it's just more glute, more development on the lower body, and then she's going to be doing really well. I think the makeup could be more glam. It's looking a little bit like oily to me, and then the pink is just a little bit too... It's too blue based. It's almost looking like plasticky Barbie pink, but like on the actual Barbie doll pink, where they use, it looks like Frosty. So I just wouldn't do a Frosty lip if she is. But smile, good. I think the hair could be a little bit more glam too in the front and the back. And back pose, yeah, this is a good back pose. She just needs some more development. She could probably push her chest like an inch forward. But yeah, this is good. She could be a little bit tighter, but then I think she would just look way too small. So we see the indication of the glute. That looks really nice. We just need more projection to those glutes, which means more development on the lower body. And then we have Irina. So I have been following Irina for a long time. I really like her look. And I'm happy to see, like, I was following her when she was going pro, which took like a fair amount of shows. And then she, not in a shady way, and then she eventually went pro. So I was excited. And so it's nice to see her like get these higher placings in the pro league. So yeah, she got 5th at this show, and love the suit color on her. I think it's really pretty. I think this pose is really good. I think for her, since she needs some more glute development, she could have more arch to the lower back, just to round this glute out a little bit. It won't make it look like she has a significant amount more size on the glutes, but it will help the shape a little bit more. And I think everything else about the pose is really good. She could maybe angle her hips away a little bit so we get more glute profile, but then she might look a little bit too top heavy. So I'm not sure. I would play with this pose a little bit, maybe close it off a little bit more as a whole. So like upper body too, but it's really like, it looks really good. So I love this. I think some more glow to the skin would be good, but I think the smile, great. I think the makeup could be a little bit more glam. Maybe just switching the lip would be enough. The lip kind of sticks out in a negative way for me. But overall, I really like this look. I think she just needs some more development on the lower body. And then some presentation things could be tweaked. And then this is an off-center pose, but yeah, I still like the color in the suit. And I think the pose looks good. It's hard to tell you because it's not straight on. I think it is just more size all over, specifically in the lower body. But the hamstring bellies look really good. You're seeing these grooves on the side of them, but you're not seeing any splits down the center of the hamstring, which is a big positive. Like we even saw that on, well, did we see it down the center of the hamstring on the 1 and 2? I don't know, but this is not even as detailed as 1 and 2. So I think she looks balanced from front to back. She's just a little bit too tight because she needs some more muscle. So that is Russia. Okay, let's talk about Prague. So Prague, we have again, very few photos for the comparison, so I didn't even pull up the comparisons because like Jazzy's not even fully posed in this one. This is 1 and 2. And then something I wanted to point out is Nora, who got 3rd at Fit Parade and 4th at this show. I found out that she just went pro at the Fit Parade Pro qualifier. So like, let me look her up really quick. Cause yeah, I had not seen her before. And I don't remember, like, looking her up on the list. So, okay, let's do this again. Okay, oops. So, I believe she, like, just went pro. Okay, whatever. I guess just pulling up the same person. Did she? Oh, okay, maybe it was her pro debut. Let's see. Okay, it was Fit Parade, but it was Fit Parade last year. So maybe I did pull her up. Okay, Bikini. Well, no, she didn't get her pro card there. So, yeah, I think she went pro at this Fit Parade show. I saw it somewhere. I think it was on the homepage. Okay, so let's see if it's still on the homepage. Okay, they only have like 3. Okay, so let me look up Fit. Maybe it's somewhere. Okay, I don't know. Just, I guess, take my word for it. I'm pretty sure, I don't know. I'm pretty positive she just went pro at the Fit Parade Pro qualifier, though. Let me look up Fit Parade Pro qualifier NPC. Because she beat Olympians at, she beat Alison Testu, who was just at the Olympia at this show. Like, that's incredible. Okay, so Bikini. Yeah, it's her. She just went pro. So she went pro and then got 3rd at her pro debut. So congratulations to her. That is badass. So yeah, I thought was so cool. Okay, so let's get into these people. So yeah, we don't have like a good. Okay, I'll pull this photo up, even though it just has our 1 and 2. So Jasmine is wearing the green. And Victoria is wearing the blue. So Jasmine is not fully posed. Her hand is not on her hip. But I think, same thing that I said before the show, Victoria is just top heavy to me. Like, glue up, it, like, a little bit top, like, much fuller muscle than in the leg. So I think what she needs is more width to the legs, because right now her glute overpowers her leg, kind of like we talked about with Brittany Gillespie throughout the year. But Brittany did look overall more balanced. Like, she was bigger in the like glutes and the shoulders a little bit, and just a little bit well, maybe not, the arms might have been fine actually, but the legs, we were saying, need more size. Victoria does look like a little bit more disparity in the muscularity from the upper to lower body, but really incredible look. I think as soon as she brings up her legs to match her glutes and then fills out this part of the upper outer glute, then she'll be winning like a lot of shows, and like could beat Jazzy if she brings up the legs, because you can see that Jazzy's leg, like, her glute is in balance with the rest of her leg. Victoria, her glute is not in balance with the rest of her leg. Her glute is bigger, like significantly bigger, and then her leg is not skinny, but like it looks skinnier compared to the leg and compared to the density and fullness she has in this shoulder and even bicep and just overall arm. So yeah, that's what I think with Victoria. I think Jazzy is just overall more complete than Victoria. So that's why she won. Okay, and then, I mean, she obviously didn't win because of her makeup. Because what the fuck did they do to Jazzy's face again? What are we doing? Why are you doing that to number 3 in the world? We need better makeup. So, okay, back pose, I think it's a less clear that Jazzy's the winner. I mean, okay, less clear. I just mean the discrepancy between the legs and the rest of the body is not as apparent in the back pose as it is in the front pose, but she's a lot tighter in the hamstrings than she is anywhere else, which means that she has less muscle there. So when she leans out, she gets super tight there and everything else looks fuller because all of those fuller areas have more muscle development. So yeah, I just think more legs, and then she's winning a bunch of shows, but she looked incredible. She's been pro at FIBO this year and is already like crushing it. So good for her. And I think she won a show last weekend, right? Jazzy, I think looks great. I'd like to see a little bit more upper outer glute, just like a little bit. I really like this look, and she's competing again this weekend, so I'm really excited. Like, she doesn't have to compete. She's already qualified. She got top 3 at the Olympia, so I'm so happy that she's doing this like international tour. So yeah, then hair, I think should be off the shoulder, but very balanced from top to bottom. Yeah, muscularity wise, shape wise, really, really, really good. Okay, let's go into individual photos. So yeah, Jazzy is always going to be tight on this arm here. She has like this arm vein in off season. I do find it a little bit distracting, but not distracting enough to like not give her the win. The makeup, I just needs to be like, I don't know. It looks like it was missing eyebrows, but in some pictures, specifically one picture, like when she's accepting an award, then like she did seem to have eyebrows, but there's just not much contrast. The pink is not really working. So this is not her fault if she did not do her own makeup. But we need a makeup artist who is gonna do her justice, like at the Olympia last year, because this is not okay. It's not okay. I'm honestly pissed. Whoever, why? Like, why? Okay. Anyway, Jazzy won in spite of her makeup. So yeah, the veins on the arms, I do find a little bit distracting. Not distracting enough for her not to win because she's still more complete than Victoria is. So yeah, great look. Her best look, well, she is more relaxed in the lat, which Tyler said that he wanted from her. Back pose, I think, is really good. Let me pull this up next to 2024 Olympia, and then I will assess if I think of this as her best look. Because this Olympia, she's looked so good. And like this makeup, this is what we want from, this is the makeup. It's been done before. So yeah, I think the lighting is so different, it's hard to know. Because part of me thinks this is like, yeah, I think the upper body is better vein wise, but the lighting is so different, so it's hard to know. I think this is a really, really good look for Jazzy. I don't think her waist looks quite as tight as it did at the Olympia last year. It could be the angle of the pose, but I'm really just trying to like pick things apart. I think this is a great look, and I wish there were slightly different lighting at the show, honestly. And then in the back pose, I think she's done a good job of having more fullness to her hamstrings this year. So she does look like a touch fuller in the hamstrings now than she did then, I think. And she does have more roundness in the upper glute than she did last year. So yeah, I think probably even a little bit more. Not because her glutes aren't incredible, like her glutes are gigantic. But I would guess that the judges would say more size in the glutes. I don't know. Jazzy, you can confirm. But her glutes can be humongous. I mean, look at her glutes here at the Arnold. So, I mean, they're just like bursting full. Yeah, I mean, I would probably say this back pose is Jazzy's best look. Okay, so then in second place we have Victoria. Gorgeous, like gorgeous. She looks like a supermodel. Tons of muscle, beautiful muscle, just needs more size in the legs. Like, I can't clock anything on Victoria because this looks really good. Her front pose doesn't really look forced. Neither does her back pose. Like, her front pose, I think, looked a little more forced at the beginning of the year. Her posing routine is really, really good. It's captivating. It makes you want to look at her. Like, she is really, 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 really good. Like, it cannot be overstated how good she is. The only change is more muscle in those areas. Sarah, I'm a big Sarah fan. What I would like to see from Sarah is angling the hips away a little bit so we get more of that shape that we see on like Jazzy. Because it's very waist on, so it kind of flattens the glute here. Does she need more upper glute? Yeah, I think so, but it just emphasizes how much more upper glute she needs when she poses like this, because it flattens it out when she's this opened up. But I think her fullness is really, really good. Yeah, I think her conditioning is on par with Jazzy's. It might even be a little bit softer than Jazzy's. Like, this might be the most bikini conditioning that I'm seeing in the top 3. Could be the lighting, I'm not sure. So, yeah, I think the green suit it's pretty. It's not my favorite, but I think it could be the lighting. It looks like there might be some gold in it, which I think is reading weird, at least in these photos. And then I would do something about getting these roots to blend more with the rest of the hair, because it looks a little bit stark. I think it's supposed to be a shadow root, but it looks a little bit stark. Yeah, just more size in the upper outer glute. Probably more size all over the whole physique, but it's a very balanced look. And then we have in 4th place Nora. So congratulations again. Yeah, her arms look much less overpowering than they did at that other show that I critiqued. I think it was at Fit Parade. In one of her back poses, I do think she could straighten her arms a little bit because it is making her arms a little bit fuller than they need to look. And you can kind of see that, like here, she has very full triceps. Even in the front pose, you can see them hanging off. So yeah, I think this pose is better than it was at Fit Parade. So that's good. Hair length, I think, is good. I think it could be a little more neat on her back. The makeup might be a little bit too much, but like it looks like she even has rhinestones, which I love, but it's just not like the best for stage. But if you look at my makeup Instagram, you'll see tons of looks with like that are just fully my face encrusted with rhinestones, which is fabulous. Yeah. What do I think? I think her back pose is phenomenal. I think the front pose, it's looking a little bit forced in this lat. So like if Jazzy at the Olympia was told that her lat was looking forced, then Nora will definitely be told that. So I would relax the lat a little bit. And I would probably develop the lat more so it naturally just opens up a bit without her having to like force it, just so we keep this hourglass shape. But I think that's really good. I think the shape of the top could be better, just more flattering. The top and the bottoms are okay. Like they're good enough, but if you're going to improve the cut of the top, I would just improve the cut of the bottoms while you're at it. And then the suit color, I don't think is ideal. I would do like a green would look really good on her. I would try a green. And then anything else? Yeah, she looks great. She's just not quite as streamlined as the other few people ahead of her. I think her back pose is pretty streamlined. She could have more hamstring, but I think there's just some details we're seeing in the front pose, like in this quad here. It could just be lighting in the arm with like the way she's posing it pretty hard. So yeah, there are some things I would want to iron out with this front pose. Maybe drop the hand to the connector a little bit. Yeah, I would just polish some stuff. So like different suit color, makeup more polished. Don't force the front pose as much, and then see what happens. Okay, and then we have 5th place, Allison Test 2. So Allison, I think, looked great. I think the hair could be more uniform. It looks like it just fell out, like maybe she was waiting for a long time. I love the makeup. I think the makeup is really good. The suit color, I think, is pretty. I don't always love these neon stones on the suits because I think it reads kind of as polka dots. But she just looks a little sucked down in the upper body. I would say more fullness to the glutes, looks a little bit tight in the hamstrings. Yeah, her body just looks more tired than I've seen it before. So I just want her overall more filled out. But really pretty, looks very confident. Okay, I'm going to drink some water. Okay, so that was Prague, and we have time to go over the 5 shows that are happening this weekend. So let's start with the natural show that's happening. Okay, so one of the people right here, Beatriz, I believe, she is not on, or her photos are just really old. She hasn't competed since I think 2019 or something. So I wanted to pull up what she's looking like now because I think she could win the show. So without even seeing recent photos of her in poses, I'm going to say that she's my show winner. We only have 3 people on this Natural Kentucky show. So I'm going to go with her being the winner. 2nd place, I think Megan Van Vliet could be the winner. She doesn't have any recent photos either. She hasn't competed in a couple years. I think just more fullness to the overall physique, but the shape is really, really good. Just needs more size overall. And then 3rd place, my guess will be Helene. So she looked beautiful at Daytona. Her glutes look really full. She has a ton of muscle. And then in her front pose, I think, yeah, she's super muscular. She looks she has such an impressive amount of muscle. I think she'd angle her hips away a little bit, standing nice and tall. This leg's a little bit too much bend, so I would straighten the leg a little bit, not completely to where it like hyperextends, but just straighten it a touch. And then bring this foot more like right here. When your feet are really close together like this, it can read as a little bit nervous. And then stand nice and tall. Yeah. I think, wow. Incredible amount of muscle. So good luck to these 3 at the Kentucky show. Okay, and then which shows should we do next? Okay, I'm going to do the ones where I have like less people pulled up. Okay, so let's start with Nutri-Yummy. So I have Jasmine as our winner. I think Jazzy is going to win. So that's my guess. Who else is on this list? Okay, Chantal. So some of these people, they're either doing pro debuts or I couldn't find their photos on the site. And that goes for like some of these international shows that I have pulled up. So I did my best to find people, like, including their Instagrams and stuff, but I couldn't find everyone. So Chantal, this is my favorite conditioning I've seen from her. Sometimes she comes in on the harder side. She went pro and then got second, like, a few times. And the next year, I believe, got her Olympia qualification. So let's see. Okay, yeah, she went pro, and then she got second at her first show, third at her next show. And then the next year, she dropped a little bit, got second again at this show she's doing this weekend. And then got first at the big man. And then this year got a second place. So Chantal is a really, really good competitor. And I think her fullness is really pretty. She could push Jazzy at this show. Do I think she will? Hard to say. I think her waist is not quite as tight as Jazzy's, and I haven't seen them compared. Okay, this is better. Her waist is more control. And she does have legs that overpower her glutes just a little bit, which you don't see on Jazzy. So I don't think anyone's going to push Jazzy at this show, but if I had to guess, like, who's going to be in top two for right now, I'm thinking Chantal. So tan looks really good. Hair, I think, is pretty. I would slide these hands in so you don't see the hands in the back pose. Arch the low back more so we get more, like, so we aren't a wider width up top than we are in the glutes. So when you stand just straight up like this with just that little arch in your back, then it makes your upper body wider than your lower body. So you do have to push the upper body like an inch or two forward. And I would like some more extreme arch, and I would angle her toes completely forward because her quads are overpowering her glutes. You want the glutes to like taper into the knee. And what I'm looking at is the quad flare in this back pose. So then I have Irene pulled up. So she has done well this year. She got third at the last show she did, 10th at Sasquatch. So here's her front pose. Like I said in my other video, I want her to relax the front pose a little bit. So bring the arm in tighter to the frame and soften up the conditioning a little bit. She's like very vascular in the upper body. It looks like her arms are getting a little bit stringy compared to her lower body. But waist is really tight. Glutes are crazy. They look really nice and full. So the conditioning from top to bottom is just not quite matching yet. So if she could fill out so her arms aren't looking stringy, then I think she would be more balanced, and balanced wins shows. Do I think it'll win against Jazzy? No, but I think it'll be a much better look for Irene here. And then shorter hair, so we see the taper from the lats into the waist, like we talked about with some other competitors. And then we have Rania. So Rania always does well. She's usually in the top 5 somewhere. At the last show she did, Prague, which she has to compete at, she got 7th. So I think this conditioning is good. She just needs fuller glutes. So same things that I always say about Rania. Stand up nice and tall. Trying to let those traps come up to the ears. So just relax it a little bit. And then we have Esther. So this is Esther's pro debut, but I brought her up because she has really nice shape and balance. So I would like to see if she's brought up her muscle a little bit, like all over. But this fullness in the glutes is really beautiful. She's not super hard anywhere. Nothing sticks out in that back pose, at least. I think the tan could be a little bit darker. The front pose, she's too opened up at me, so I would angle away so she's more profile. More like Jazzy's pose yet again. Jazzy just has a really, really strong front pose, so I think most people could benefit from looking at Jazzy's pose and trying to get theirs more like hers. Like, what balance is different for every person, but Jazzy's like, so what you do is there's basically like a template for what the front pose is supposed to look like, and then if you have super wide shoulders, you have to angle your shoulders away a little bit more than what the standard front pose is. Or if you have like super overpowering glutes, you might open up your waist a little bit, so you diminish some of those glutes, just like things like that. But when people are like so open up at the judges, it's helpful to look at someone who is more of a template for that pose and then do that and then tweak it around your own structure. And then we have Katarzyna. So hope I'm saying that right. Okay, so I think she needs some more size. The last show she did though was in 2023. So I'm hopeful that she does have more size. Just filling out like the whole frame. She's hyperextending that knee a little bit, it looks like. Maybe not. She could have a little bit more bend though, so we get more fullness in this glute. But I'm really taken with her back pose, which is here, because the fullness in her glutes is really good. So if she just brings up muscle all over her frame, longer hair, arch the back more, stuff like that, I'm curious how she'll do if she has overall more size. So maybe she has more size now. Then we have Arena. So same things I just said. So if I had to guess, I'm going to say Jazzy, Chantal, and then maybe Rania. Could be Esther. I mean, she just went pro, so if she makes those tweaks, then even though she's smaller than those other people, she does have good balance, and Jazzy is very balanced. So I'll say her. I'm not confident in these predictions. Rania, I might put Rania in third, and then Esther in fourth, and then I'll put Arena back in fifth. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna write this down. Okay, so, and let's see if I got those other shows, how I did on the other shows. I don't think I killed it. Let's see. Okay, so Prague, I said it would be Jazzy, Victoria. Okay, so I was right. Allison I put in third, which was not true. She got fifth. Ronnie I put in fourth, which she got seventh. And Patrizia I put in fifth, but she got sixth. Okay, and then photos for, Moscow, I said it would be Alessia, then Lita, but it was actually the flip-flop of that. And then those are the only people I predicted. So, okay, what show is this? Okay, Nutri-Remy. So I'm going to say Jazzy, Chantal, Rania, and then who did I put next? Oh, okay, Esther. And I think her balance is so good, she could be higher. And then I'll say Irene. Okay. Those are my guesses for Nutri-Yummy. Okay, and then let's go over... Okay, that one has more people. Let's go over New Zealand. Okay, so New Zealand is going to be interesting. There are not a lot of shows in New Zealand and Australia. Kate Carroll right here, she will be like probably the most well-known of the Australian New Zealand competitors because she comes to the U.S. and does shows and ends up going to the Olympia the past 2 years. So my guess is that... But there are a lot of really, really good people there, obviously. Like, it's just a matter of there not being enough shows to showcase them. And they do their amateur shows in like seasons. So I think there's like season A, B, and C or something. So yeah, they're on a lot of shows. It's very hard to go pro there because it's usually like just the top 1 or 2 in the overall. I'm not that educated on it, so if anyone is from there and wants to tell me or just knows about it, then feel free to comment. But I'm excited to see these people compete. It's a lot of people's pro debuts because, like I said, there really aren't many pro shows there. The other person that always came to mind when I thought about Australian competitors is Melissa Carver. She has an incredible physique. She qualified for the Olympia last time she competed, I believe, but then didn't go. Yeah, she got 2021. Yeah, okay, there aren't like a lot of... Okay, let me look up her... Okay, when you see her, I don't know like what her situation is with competing, but she has a crazy, crazy, crazy physique. Okay. I mean, that's like not a bikini pose, but I don't know. If you take the time to look her up, she was one of the first people that I saw when I got into competing, and I was like very into the look. Okay, so let's talk about Kate Carroll. So I think Kate Carroll will be first. She's very balanced. She was just at the Olympia. She's beaten Ashley Kaltwasser before. Great shape. I think it needs some more size in the lower body, just all over, but specifically in the lower body. But her conditioning is always really good, never too hard anywhere. Really beautiful shape to her muscle bellies. Like that's like perfect conditioning almost. It's tighter than what she usually is, I think, but it's like pretty much perfect. And then the arms that's how she poses. Yeah, I don't have anything to say about the pose. Sometimes she poses a little bit wide, but I don't know. It kind of works. I don't know. I think it's fine. And then we have Alexandra Banda. So here she is in her front pose. She competed in Tokyo and got 14th. I think she just needs to be tighter in the lower body, though. This shape is crazy. Like, beautiful shape. Love the suit color. And then I think she needs to be tighter in the lower body, in the front and in the back pose, and then not stand as wide with the feet. But if she is in top two, then Kate usually poses kind of wide. So if she's tighter and is posing wide, then it could be, a good comparison. And then she's pinching her upper body here. So I would open the upper back so we get that taper into the waist like you saw on Kate. And then I would say, okay, Lauren, we talked about her recently. Beautiful shape. I think she needs to get tighter in the lower body. And that's usually how women lose weight anyway. Like their body fat like goes from here, and then the last part to lose is like this lower lower hamstring or upper hamstring glute area. So if she's just a little bit tighter, I would like to see what happens, but her shape is very, very, very impressive. And then we have Morgan Eldred. So I think this is going to be her pro debut. So here she is in her back pose. I think she just needs clearly more glutes, standing. It looks like a lot of these people are standing wide. So I'm sure she's taken the time to put on more size in her lower body. And I think that's what she needs, but her shape is very, very good. The pose is a little bit more forced because she's arching a lot to get that shape in her glutes, but I'm just curious to see how much she's put on because her shape is really good. And then we have Kareen Haddad. So yeah, Kareen, beautiful physique. I would like to see more size in this lat here because she looks like a little lower body dominant. She might need to be tighter in the lower body, but this shape is very pretty, and I love the angle of the front pose. I think the suit top could have more coverage. The glutes look really, really good. The glutes do overpower the legs a little bit, and I would get suit bottoms that I would pull them down in the back and up in the front so they have that heart shape to the glutes instead of making them look like triangular up here. So I would get a little bit tighter if possible in the lower body and see what happens. And then we have Rochelle Lloyd, so another person who I think is doing her pro debut. So I think more size in the lower body, run a brush through the hair, better fitting suit bottoms, and let's look at the front pose. Yeah, shape is really good. I think just a little more size, and we'll see what happens. A lot of these people, it's just like, we'll see what happens. And then we have ZU. Her name is listed as Jamie, so it took me a while to find her, but then I saw that she could be at the show. So I would bring the arm in tighter to the frame, angle the hips away a little bit so I see less of the front of the suit bottom, so we get more of the shape like we were talking about with Jazzy's. The red suit is pretty. I think the makeup looks really pretty. And then in the back pose, let's see. How'd she do at the show? I think like 7th? Okay, 6th. The back pose, I think she just needs some more size and glutes. So is that possible between this show she recently did and now? No, not really. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Straighten the arms a little bit so they aren't like poking out like that. Okay, so if I have to guess, I'm gonna say Kate, and then I'm gonna say Alexandra. Lauren, I think, could be in there. Morgan, it's hard to know how much size she's put on. Kareen, I might put in 3rd. I might put Jamie in 5th. Okay, I'm going to say for New Zealand, I am so happy they were doing this New Zealand show. I want them to have more shows in that area because it's like they get one show and then have to be able to afford to travel to like come to the US or go to Asia or something to do other shows. But the Asian shows, I don't think many of them are, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like we go over them a lot, but I don't think there are that many like clustered together. And even if they are, it's, I think, in different countries. Like it's not, it's like Japan and then China. So yeah, I don't know. I've never traveled there, so I don't know what the logistics are like getting from one place to the next, but in like how close together those shows are for you to be able to like do a stretch of shows. So I don't know. So I'm gonna say Kate, Lauren. Oh, did I put Lauren? I guess. Oh no, Kate, Alexandra. Okay, and then Kareen. Okay, Alexandra. Okay, Kareen, Lauren, and then who else? Did I say Jamie? I guess Jamie. Because I think Morgan and Jamie both look really good. They both just need more glutes. Or it could be Rochelle. So I don't know. That's my guess. Okay. And then we have, that show. And then what's this? Kazakhstan? Okay. So now we have East Coast Pro. So this is a packed show. Like, just looking at the list, we have Maria Costa, Yulia Baba, Zinyi, Evie Eskandar, Ashley Hampton, Sharon Ramos. Like, all those people were just at the Olympia. So Maria got 9th at the Olympia last year. She got 8th. Evie got 7th at the Olympia this year. Let's see. Yeah, 7th. Okay. And then, yeah. Okay, so let's go over these people. So Maria, I don't think Maria needs to change anything. I think she has incredible hourglass shape. I think she's just like it. I think her conditioning is really good. I think she's going to win, even though Evie placed ahead of her. I just think Evie's too tight and her hourglass shape isn't as good as Maria's. So I'm going to guess Evie 2nd. Okay, so Maria, I don't have anything that I would change on Maria, honestly. Like, I think she nails it. She nails it. Like, this pose is really good. No changes. Hair, makeup, suit are good. Conditioning is perfect. Like, I don't have anything I would change. Which I can't say the same for Evie. Like, I think Evie comes in a little bit too tight in certain areas. I think this is the best she's looked, but she still just is not, to me, as balanced as Maria is. Beautiful look. You, like, want to look at her. She calls your attention. She looks very happy to be on stage. I think both of them do. Just a lot more detail in this upper body than in the lower body, which reads as an imbalance for me. And I think she needs some more depth to the glutes. And I think Maria has a lot of depth to her glutes. So, yeah, that's what I think. Okay, and then Zinyi. This is a really great look. Like, if Zinyi makes those changes to her pose that I talked about in my last video, like standing up taller, splitting the stance a little bit more, like, I think she could win this show. So, yeah. I mean, her back pose is fucking killer. Look at this. Are you kidding me? I mean, there's nothing I would change. She's a little bit tight. Like, a little bit tight in the hamstrings, but that's it. I would honestly have her ahead of Evie. So, I'm going to put her ahead of Evie. But, I mean, that might be foolish, but that's what I would do. And then Yulia, really great hourglass shape. The waist is always something that sticks out to me a little bit. It just always reads as a little bit soft. I know she has to eat a lot in order to fill out. Back pose is really, really good. I think she is kind of squatting into this a little bit, so the quads are overpowering. So just angle the toes more forward or just straighten the leg a little bit so she's not squatting into it. The blue suit, I think, is pretty. Hair is very pretty. Makeup is pretty. She does look like she's hunched forward a little bit. So if she has stood up tall and, like, open up her chest, I think that would be really good. I'm gonna put Yulia in 4th. I don't know if I should do that already. Okay, Danielle Braco. So she recently got 7th. I think if she were a little bit tighter, then she could do better. Maybe not at this show because there are a lot of, like, Olympians, but I want to pull her up. She looks really good. So, okay, yeah, more size the upper outer glute, but I think her conditioning is pretty, just needs to be tighter. The conditioning looks to me like Maureen's. Like, she's definitely softer than Maureen, but the fullness to the skin looks like Maureen. But if she got tighter, maybe she would, no longer have that look. But I'm going to pull her up because she looks good. And because I'm curious what she would look like if she were tighter up. We already looked at her back pose briefly, but I'll pull it up again. Okay, so here she is in her back pose. Like, this is really good. I would just like to see her tighter. So will she be in the top 5? I don't think so, but I thought she was worth pulling up for sure. Okay, Ashley Hampton and then Sharon Ramos. Okay, so Ashley Hampton. Love Ashley Hampton's look. She, yeah, really good. More muscular. Love it. I would straighten this leg a little bit so there's not hyperextension happening. This angle is a little bit off, so it's hard for me to say, honestly, because she looks like very opened up. Back pose, I think she needs more glutes to taper down into the knee here. So I think she just needs bigger glutes and to make some adjustments to her front pose. So looking at her front pose again, let's look at her front pose from Southern Muscle because I think it's more straight on. Okay, so she could stand up taller. I don't know if she was doing that at the Olympia. She looks like she's leaning forward a little bit. I would angle listening in slightly at the judges. Yeah, I would just make some tweaks to the front pose. I think Sharon will be in our 5th place. So she just got her first win at the Dominican Republic show. No, it wasn't. It was at the Olympia show. The Olympia Spain, I think. Okay, so yeah, her shape is really beautiful. There weren't ever pictures for that, so I can't pull it up, sadly. But yeah, her shape is beautiful. I would twist into this hip a little bit more so we see more of that glute profile. But again, I don't think that photo is very straight on. What I think she needs is just more depth to her glutes. She has such long insertions that it just takes more muscle to fill it out and get the same projection that you see on like an Ashley Kaltwasser. But the shape to them is beautiful. She just needs more depth and projection. And I think she could relax her upper body a little bit. So straighten the arms a little bit. Yeah. And then I usually don't say this, but she is looking pretty straight up and down. I don't know. Okay. First, I would try straightening the arms and kind of relaxing those shoulders a little bit, pushing the chest like an inch or two forward. And then if that still is like looking very straight up and down, then I would maybe spread the stance a little bit more. And I think part of it is her shoulders are like bursting here. So if they were the stance was a little bit wider, it would match the width of the shoulders better. So I'm going to say Sharon in 5th place. But, I mean, she'd be as high as 2nd. I don't know that she'd win this, but, like, she'd be pretty high. Okay. And then final show is Kazakhstan. So we have Eugenia's coming back. And then we have Lita's coming back, so rematch. Wu Bai, so I think Wu is going to win probably. Alina, who else? Okay. And a lot of these people, like, I couldn't find their photos. Okay, so these are our people. Just making okay, yeah. So my front runners are definitely Wu. So same feedback I recently gave Wu at Wanji, China. Her posing hasn't changed. So straighten the arm a little bit, stand up taller. She usually hunches over a little bit. Yeah, so no new feedback. You can just look at what I said in my last video. That she's featured in, and they're all labeled, so you'll be able to find it. Yeah, this looks really good. Stance might be a little bit wide, but overall really good. Very balanced, lots of muscle. I think she's probably gonna win. Same critiques that I gave earlier. I would stand up, tell her just relax these poses. I think yeah. Lita. So if Wu is the winner, I think Eugenia might come in 2nd. Again, I couldn't find all these people, so these are just my guesses based on who I pulled up. This conditioning is more similar to Wu, so I would say that. Nothing new about Lita. And then Alina, I think, has really great shape and fullness. I would just show more confidence in this pose. In different suit, because this one has those, like, chunky crystals. So I would angle the knee, or I would, like, externally rotate the knees a little bit, because they're almost knocking together here. And then in the front pose, let's see. There's a lot going on with the posing. Yeah, front pose is really pretty. Lots of fullness. I wonder if she borrowed Jess Feeney's suit, because Jess Feeney has this suit. So yeah, I think she could be in there. It's hard to know. This fullness is really pretty. She reminds me a lot of Maria. So I'm going to say, who is this? Okay. Insinar. So front pose, I think this is good. She's hollowing out the abdomen a lot, so I would arch the low back a little bit and just not quite hollow out the abdomen. Lots of muscle on the lower body. It almost looks like maybe more muscle on the lower than on the upper. And then we have our back pose. Great fullness. I think she just needs more size to the glutes. So that reads as an imbalance to me in muscularity. And then we have Christina. So Christina has really great shape. I think she just needs some more muscle development and to relax this pose a little bit. So she's really trying to make the upper body look wide. I would bring the arm in tighter to the frame, bring this leg in a little bit closer. It's just like really spreading that stance too wide, in my opinion. And then in the back pose, which was on the other page. So we're going to go back to it. Okay. Yeah, the fullness looks really pretty. I think she just needs some more muscle density and to pull these suit bottoms down a little bit so they frame the glutes better. Relax the back pose a little bit, like straighten the arms a little, but very pretty. Zana, so she's got 7th. I think her fullness is very good. She's not fully posed there. It looks like she doesn't have a fully posed pose. And then I bring the arm entire to the frame, but I could honestly see her like getting very high. Let's see. I would probably move her up to maybe even my 2nd place, but she's less muscular than Wu, so hard to say. Okay. And then we have Aisha. So Aisha has a really, really good shape. I think she just needs to be tighter in the lower body because it looks like there's some extra body fat here. But the shape is crazy. Like, look at that lat. I don't know. I would like to see some more definition in the arm here. I'm not really seeing, it could be the tattoo, but I'm not really seeing the lines that I want to see. And then the back pose, again, just overall tighter. So she's had some time to get tighter at that show. She was just in, oh, wait. Yeah, okay, September. So she's had time to get tighter since then. And then Luca, she always does pretty well. Last year she was getting like in the top 5 pretty frequently. So she could do better at this show. I think what I've been saying is just more size of the glutes. She's definitely put on more size of the glutes since last year. I would arch this back more and push the upper body like an inch forward. And I'll probably put her up in my top 5 somewhere. And then our final person is Laura. And Laura just got fit at Fit Parade. So here is Laura's front pose. You can see my Fit Parade video too. Okay. So here is Laura. Yeah, her shape is really good. I would relax that front pose. Like I said in my last video, is bring the arm entire to the frame. And then I think she just needs more size in the glutes. And I'm seeing a lot of quad flares. So I would angle the toes forward so the quads don't overpower the glutes. So I'm going to guess. Okay, I'm going to say Woo. Okay, so Woo. And then I'm going to say Zana. Because I think her shape is really good. Even though, she doesn't have as much size. And I'll say Eugenia. And then I'll say Lita. I think she's just really tight. So I don't know if she's going to compare very well, honestly. But I'll put her in there. And then I'll say Luca. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for sticking with me. And I hope you have a great day. And then look up your local food kitchen. So thank you. Bye.